The cycle's phonological pattern approach, created by Hodson and Patton, represents another linguistic approach designed for children with multiple sound errors. This approach targets deficient phonological patterns for instruction, uses sounds to teach appropriate phonological patterns, and moves through these targets in a sequential manner that is not based on a criterion level of performance before moving on to another sound and/or pattern.
At the beginning of each session, the prior week's production practice word cards are reviewed.
This step requires listening for about 30 seconds while the clinician reads approximately 20 words containing the target pattern. This auditory simulation is done at the beginning and end of each session using two different word lists and includes the use of mechanical or digital amplification. The clinician may also demonstrate the error and contrast it with the target. The use of a mild gain assistive listening device is strongly recommended here. It may be tempting to simply speak louder, but there is a common tendency to distort productions when doing so. Such a distorted signal is clearly something to be avoided.
The client draws, colors, or pastes pictures of 3 to 5 carefully selected target words based on phonetic environment of the words on a 5-inch by 8-inch index card. The name of the picture is written on each card, and the child says each word prior to its selection as a target word to evaluate it for difficulty.
The client participates in experimental play production practice activities. The client is expected to have a very high success rate in terms of correct productions. Shifting activities every 5 to 7 minutes helps maintain a child's interest in production practice. The client is also given the opportunity to use target words in conversation. Production practice incorporates auditory, tactual, and visual stimulation and cues as needed for correct production at the word level. Usually 5 words per target sound are used in a single session. The client must produce a target pattern in words in order to get his or her turn in the activity.
The target phoneme in the next session for a given pattern is selected based on stimulability probing, checking to see what words a child can imitate, which occurs at this point in the treatment session.
Auditory stimulation with amplification is repeated using the word list from the beginning of the session.
Activities such as rhyming and syllable segmentation are incorporated for a few minutes in each session because many children with SSD are at risk for later problems with literacy skills.
Parents are instructed to read a word list, 5 to 10 words, to the child at least once a day and then have the child name the words on practice picture cards used in the listening activity. The 5 cards used during the session for production practice are also sent home for the child to practice daily. This activity should take only about 2 minutes each day.
The Cycles Toolkit includes example phonology goals, informal phonology screener, informal phonology assessment, progress monitoring forms, session schedule, parent letters, summary pages for each process, flashcards, watercolor card deck covers, and toolbox labels.
Some pros of the cycle approach include its focus on shifting and cycling of remediation targets and the fact that a phoneme related to a particular pattern is focused on for a given length of time rather than a set criterion level of performance, with the new target being worked on after an hour of instructional time, as well as focusing on pattern acquisition rather than on elimination of inappropriate patterns is a developmentally sound way to conceptualize intervention.
The cons of the cycle approach include that it was designed for the unintelligible children. Aspects of this approach can be used with less severely impaired clients. The CPPA has been adapted for the use with children with cleft palate, developmental dyspraxia, and recurrent otitis media and hearing impairments, as well as developmental delays.
All right, Haley, we're going to start by going over the words that you learned last week. Repeat them after me. Tag, tug, toy, train, truck, telephone, tree, today, cut, toe, cat, bat. Good job. All right, now we're going to go over the words that I'm going to teach you this week. Bay, bag, butt, bear, box, book, brother, bee, blue, boat, bat, bird, ball, button, bus, bug, bag, boy, and calf. Now I'm going to show you the words again. I want you to repeat them. Bag,
bag,
butt,
butt,
bear,
bear,
box,
box,
book,
book,
brother,
brother,
bee,
bee,
blue,
blue,
boat,
boat,
bat,
bat,
bird,
bird,
ball,
ball,
button,
button,
bus,
bus,
bug,
bug,
bag,
bag,
boy,